Missy NSB Timmy Koso Obi Ani Tiapa Okoka Wenyasem One can so be the bonny Jena Sembe Nye Sena Insem Sheda Kemunyo Mashi Sumase. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to today's episode. Before we digest today's topic, I just want you to say, hey, Kase, hey. If you are wondering why Kwabena Adu Buahene and his wife, Madam Angela Boateng, have been trending since yesterday, this is the breakdown to the whole story. And you, my friend, will understand and judge. But before we even dive into the real story, I want you to know, say, whenever you see people spending money, buying things, flying out left, right, center, telling you all sort of things, don't be discouraged on your hustle. Be proud of the little God is giving you and work harder to make it plenty. Because as it stands now, we don't even know what to believe again. Now, if somebody go do something like this, Assemblies of God church member, a deacon, no, wait, it should be any other church. Assemblies of God, where all the gods have assembled. Intro. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to today's episode, and my name is Papa J. This is Let's Talk Some. We are going to digest the story. Now, there have been allotment of money, and the money that have been allotted, the oral team established by John Dramani Mahama and his government, the people are working, and the street is hot, and names are being dropped. Why am I saying this? Mr. Kwabena Adu Buahene and his wife. But before we talk about the wife, let's talk about the man first. He happens to be the Director General of the National Signal Bureau. That is the BNC. Now, this man was a deputy under Mahama's government. And then when Mahama was outthrown, Akufo-Addo came into power and then appointed him as the Director General. Now, when this man became the Director General, problem day after he has left office. Currently, the oral team have been investigating, and the Attorney General came out with a statement. They've been auditing people and searching bank account and transactions, and the matters they found, it go bust your mind. That is why I'm telling you, Kase, hey! Watch this video.
Former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Adu Buahene, was arrested last Thursday over allegations of money laundering, embezzlement, and the misuse of state funds. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, outlined the state's case against him at a news conference today, revealing details of financial crimes linked to a cybersecurity equipment purchased from an Israeli firm. Dr. Ayeni disclosed that Adu Buahene used various mechanisms to evade arrest.
On Thursday, March 20th, 2025, EOCO received intelligence again, additional intelligence, that a suspect had cancelled his flight and rescheduled his arrival to Ghana from Dubai to April 18, 2020. That's April 8th, not 18, April 8th, 2020. On March 20th, around 3 p.m., EOCO's operational team, led by the acting Deputy Executive Director in charge of operations, assessed its operational plan to include the possibility that the suspect could have traveled back to London to fly to Ghana in an attempt to evade surveillance. EOCO assessed with high confidence that the changes made by the suspect in terms of arrival date in Ghana may have been calculated step to mislead investigators and throw them off any possible surveillance.
Investigations have uncovered questionable financial transactions. Adu Buahene allegedly misapplied state funds through bank transfers and other dealings.
He and his wife, Miss Angela Adu Buahene, registered a company on October 23rd, 2018, which they named, and listen carefully, BNC Communications Bureau Limited. It is important to note that the similarity between the names here, that is BNC, was designed, to engage in a criminal enterprise. Mr. Adu Buahene, who is the head or who was the head of the BNC, and his wife are listed as directors of the private BNC. On October 26, 2018, the couple opened a corporate account for their private BNC at Universal Merchant Bank, UMB. In his capacity as director of the national BNC, Mr. Adu Buahene on January 30th, 2020, signed a contract on behalf of the government of Ghana and the National Security Council on the one hand, and on the other hand, an Israeli company called ISC Holdings Limited. The contract was for the purchase of a cyber defense system software at a price of $7 million United States of American dollars. Let us call this contract the GOD ISC contract.
He is also accused of embezzling over 39 million cedis, diverting public funds for personal use.
That is to say that the sum of 39,462,480 Ghana cedis of taxpayers' money went into their private pockets.
Every state company has a bank account they use for their transaction in case they want to buy something outside the country or they want to do some payment. They have a particular bank account they use. And so when he became the Director General, he also did what? Created his company with his wife and then named the company the same way as the state company, but added what? Limited. And went to create his bank account with the same name as the, if your company name is Sam and George or Charge Multimedia, if you are creating a bank account, for it to be legit, you use the same documentation and then have the same banking name. You understand? So that it will be Charge Multimedia banking account. So that if you give it to a client, it becomes legit. Now, there was some machines and some transaction between Israel and Ghana. And they were like, no, we need to buy some softwares to upgrade our cyber security system and some machinery. And the entire amount of money that we will be needing for this particular thing is $7 million. So the Director General, which happens to be Mr. Kwabena Adu Buahene, brought this to the financial institution within the government to do payment. And so when the money was deposited into the original bank account of the BNC, that money, he transferred it into his personal company, which happens to be the BNC Limited, in a different bank. And because he is the Director General, who is going to audit him? Because he is the boss at the top and he is making all the strings movement. What is here? And so before we continue, I just want to let you know, say, he hasn't been to court yet for him to be found guilty. It is based on information online from the Attorney General. That is why we are also digesting the equation for you. So everything I am saying here is allegedly. Me niska me fa lawyer, me pacho, me nika pre. So everything I am saying here is allegedly. Now let's continue. And so he moved this money into his bank account, which is his company bank account, and then did the payment to the Israelis. And look, what they boss everybody in mind within this finding, BC, the thing that he said it is $7 million, the thing is actually $1 million. So the rest of the 6 million, Chairman pocket time. Now, the reason everybody is talking about this issue is that the man is a deacon of a certain church, and that church is no other church than Assemblies of God. And Assemblies of God, the reason they boss people that my mind be say, all the churches where they, Nanka, take any other church, maybe Christ Ministry Ambassadors. But Assemblies of God, where all the gods meet and disperse information, you are get digging there. He made the boss people their mind. And this man is so successful that he's been invited on several shows to come and talk about prosperity. Watch one of his preaching. Watch this.
That will come into your ministry. So I thank God for this opportunity. What have I learned in my young life? In my very early 40s, really, really very early 40s. But I see that opportunities must always be seized. We must always seize opportunities. You know, we are aware that everybody is blessed. It is very, very true. You are pastors and you even know more than I am that when God created us, God actually blessed us from the start that we should be fruitful, multiply, and take dominion over all of the earth. So the blessing is already there. But you see, the difference between successful people and people who are not successful is opportunity and how you are able to seize it to your advantage. This is why Solomon mentions in Ecclesiastes, is it 9 verse 11, 12, he says that the race is not to who? It is, or food to whoever. In fact, he goes on and on. He's trying to say that people are successful not just because they were meant to be successful, but time and opportunity, or others say chance, happens to them all. Time and opportunity would happen to all of us sat here today. Time and opportunity happened to me. As you are sitting here today, time and opportunity has happened to you because you've spent time here.
You know, they bust your mind. This is why some of the youth don't even go to church again. They focus on the hustle. Because what the pastor will tell you sometimes will bust your mind. And you feel like you are not doing anything. And sometimes you will be influenced. That is why we have people at certain positions in certain companies, they still bosses money. Money that doesn't belong to them. They see it as an opportunity. There was this issue a friend of mine told me, where the manager they have appointed to be a manager at a certain company, monies that client paid that is supposed to go to the company account, this guy took the money, saw an opportunity of investing the money because the company, the CEO will not use the money any sooner. Invested the money into a certain banking system and the money cashed. And so when the CEO was ready to use the money, let's go and cash out the money. Money do zabuko. Wait. They pull the thing through court case and issues. The guy cannot even pay. And so the CEO will never trust anybody who happens to be a manager at that company again. Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue the issue. As they grab him, now in lawyers carry the man. Issue also come. It go bust your mind. Watch this video.
Okay, so this is it. PK Sapon says, Kwabena Adu Buahene is not a politician. Dominic Ayini should stop misinforming the public. Kwabena Adu Buahene owns Glofet, a multi-million-dollar company and one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fertilizer company in West Africa. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Ayini, during his press conference to itemize the cases involving some individuals his office has investigated, created the impression that Kwabena Adu Buahene of Signals Bureau, appointee of Akufo-Addo, is an MPP member who has acquired wealth and property that defy logic. It is hereby stated that Kwabena Adu Buahene is not and has never been a member of the New Patriotic Party. He is not a politician and has always been a businessman. He is not an MPP NDC matter. It is imperative that these facts are made available to the public about him. Kwabena is the owner of Glofet, a multi-million-dollar company and one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fertilizer company in West Africa, which owns the biggest fertilizer blending setup in Ghana. This entity has loans from banks, including the ECOWAS Development Bank, which it services diligently. Glofet did many business with Cocoa Board when Dr. Stephen Opuni was the chief executive officer of the entity. He and his wife, Angela Eje Boateng, own several other successful businesses in and outside Ghana. He has been owning businesses long before 2017. It is important to point out that Kwabena has been working at Signals since 2007. He was a public servant under President Mahama, serving as deputy director. He rose through the ranks and became director when the NPP came into office. He owns properties running into several millions of dollars. He has been owning many expensive cars, including Ferraris, G-Wagons, Range Rovers, and others before 2017. Dr. Ayini should stop creating the impression that the gentleman and his wife acquired all these properties and built these businesses when he became director of Signals Bureau. This ugly haste of making this a partisan case is not only reprehensible but mischievous. If he has done anything wrong, he should be put before court. If he has done something against the state, he should charge him and stop linking him to the NPP. It is quite perplexing that Kwabena Adu Buahene has not been charged by the Attorney General yet. He is being persecuted in the media. The nauseating habit of prosecuting people in the public domain when they have not been sent to court must end. This is not how our laws work. Dr. Dominic Ayini should stop hiding the fact that Adu Buahene owns properties and businesses long before he became director of the Signals Bureau. If these facts are not available to him, then his investigation.
And even the Attorney General was saying that this is just like a trailer of a movie. So it means there are bigger issues coming up. The country is going to be sweet. Very soon there will be sugar in Ghana and people, it will be bitter in their mouths. What I said? Ladies and gentlemen, so on the highway, this is why Mr. Kwabena Adu Buahene and the wife, Madam Angela Boateng, have been trending. But like I said, please focus on your own hustle. And if the opportunity comes, seize it. What? Seize it. At this point, my name is Papa J. Please subscribe to the channel. Share this video for